Flying high in the heartbeat, song in the sky. Welcome back, viewers. It is I, James Kalm, your half-assed reporter, the guy on the bike. Special shout-out to our viewers in Oakland, California, Christchurch, New Zealand, and Edmonton, Alberta. We're going to pop in here to the Matthew Marks Gallery and take a look at an exhibition by Karl Wirsum titled Eye Adjustment. Stay tuned. Carl's still alive? Oh. Oh boy, this is a museum quality exhibition. I think Karl was one of my favorite of the Harry Who artists. Oh gosh, look at all this. Well, I think I've probably got less than half an hour to get through this, but we'll get what we can. If I have to, I'll come back. I actually peeked through the window last week and thought I would have to pay a visit to this show. I know that Matthew Marks had an exhibition about, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, titled something like The Nerve. And I believe at that point that Karl was actually there at the opening. Okay, so it's 5:36. We're going to have to do a marathon sweep here. This is titled Tongue-Tied, 1966, acrylic on canvas. And I imagine this is the earliest piece in the show. But you can see that they're already playing some games with language, imagery. Oh, I didn't notice that. We got the numbers in there like it's a target. Bubblegum pop. One of the reasons I like the Harry Who people is that, well, they're eccentric. And also they're a kind of a challenge to the hegemony of the New York school and that whole thing with abstract expressionism and pop art, minimalism, conceptualism. These guys always kept it a little gamier, a little weirder. Baseball girl. We'll just skim over some of the drawings. Oh, Karl was a great draftsman. It's like crayon, colored pencil. It's titled You Do, 1966, oil on canvas. Well, I think Karl, Jim Nutt, some of the other, Gladys Nilsson, some of the other Harry Hu artists had very pristine techniques, very smooth, austere, clear, sharp. It's titled Spawning a Yawn with a Yellow Awning On. Again, they've got some great puns there. The pun, the lowest form of humor, maybe. It's 42 by 40. Well, actually, these sirens outside in the street are probably a perfectly fitting soundtrack for this. It's titled Vite, 1966, 23 by 19. Well, I think one of the sources for the Harry Hu imagery was carnival posters, album covers, various kinds of vulgar advertising. It's titled Mane and Hairdress. Okay, now we really start to see a kind of Karl's style that he carried through and developed for the next 50 years developing. Okay, that's kind of like a study for this Untitled 1969. I also think that Jim Nutt and Gladys were teaching out in the Bay Area at some point and started to collect some outsider art, maybe Martin Ramirez and a guy named something Yoakum, and brought the work back to Chicago, and their group, the Harry Hu group, started looking at a lot of outsider art and maybe being inspired by that. Wayward Bust, 1970, 36 by 24. Okay, so this is acrylic on canvas. Okay, this has got it all. We got the jazzy color, great composition, we got text. Okay, this is titled Risk Watch, 1974. It's acrylic on cardboard on painted wood frame. Okay, so we can say he's like also nailed this into the frame. Now, there are a lot of people that are biting on this kind of stuff nowadays, but somehow it just doesn't have the same punch, the same zip. Oh, that's a beauty. Let's look at his puppets. China Clown and Roly Pup. It's 1973-74. Acrylic on paper mache, fabric shoes, and painted wooden chair. Oh, boy, that's great. Acrylic on wood, this is 18 by 14 by 7.5. And would be wonderful if we could see these articulated if there was a puppet master up there pulling the strings. Okay, this is fun. Gargoyle. Gargoyle. It's 1969 acrylic on mirror and wood. Okay, I'm actually surprised at how well this is held up. And God, I'm tempted to open the medicine cabinet. Got some more sculptural pieces. Standing figure. 1967 to 71. Very nice palette on that. It's 30 by 12 by 9.5. Magnet hands. Crayon and ink on chipboard. And I'm looking at this and thinking that you could probably articulate the arms and legs on this. This is 79 by 50. Dry docked little Anthony Memorial 1987. This is oil on canvas in a painted wooden frame. Well, I was sorry to hear that Karl had passed away in 2001 or 2021. But I think he was probably in his mid-80s by that point. And as I said, I came for an opening at a show called something like The Nerve, which was about a lot of wacky figurative artists. A lot of them were the Chicago School of Harry Who. And Mimi Gross was there talking to Karl, and I think that Mimi had actually donated or had lent one of the pieces that was in the show. Okay, so these are a series of dresses. And, yeah, mannequins. Styled marionette, which also, I guess, is on strings. Interesting shoes. I think Karl was quite a sculptor. I wasn't aware of a lot of his sculptural things. Christine, 1972, acrylic on wooden fabric, 78 by 28. It's also 1972. Great color in the dress. Nurse Worse. It's almost like Nurse Ratchet. It's 1970 acrylic on wood and fabric. 72 by 20. Coming down the final stretch. This is Untitled, 1978. Acrylic on canvas in painted frame. There's a lot of tiny little dots in there. Okay. Mush plunged into the abyss 2, 1982. Acrylic and collage on paper, mounted on wood with rubber plunger. Okay, well, we'll just run down this wall of drawings. Study for left in the dust. Okay, I like his little edge notations. He's got some things on color gradients. Untitled. Okay, this is why we love looking at the drawings. We get to see the thinking in the process. Study for the Guerrilla Carnival, 2013. It's 24 by 19. Colored pencil, 2013. It's charred, 2011 acrylic on canvas, 52 by 37. I guess we would consider this the late Wirsum. Okay, this is the title piece of the show. This is Eye Adjustment 2012. Acrylic on panel, 36 by 29. And yes, it's got an immaculate surface. And yeah, I think the pared down composition and the simplified palette is a real tasty development. Sputter in the niche of time. Acrylic on canvas in painted wood frame. This is 56 by 43. 2009. Okay, I like the figure. Also, yes, pay attention to the way that the light kind of reflects off the painted frame onto the wall. You know, this is a wonderful piece, but you could go back to the work he was doing in 1969, and you can definitely see a direct linkage in his imagery. Also, I'm wondering, gosh, what do you think that is that the lady's got on her finger that's hanging off there? Phoenix lowering. This is 2020. So this night might be the most recent piece in the show. Acrylic on panel. And again, like I was saying, a lot of artists work a lifetime to pare things down, and this is a good example of how nice and clean and simple you can make your images. Let's send a letter later. 2009. Yeah, these are very punchy, very coloristically punchy. Okay, we're gonna end our little tour here. Some underwear over the rainbow. It's 2013 acrylic on panel in 2 parts. Okay, so that is nice. He can get the shiny stuff when he wants it, and the deep red around the edges, or he can go matte, like the central pink areas. And I wonder if that's a self-portrait. James Kalm reporting on Karl Wirsum, eye adjustment, 1963 to 2020, here at Matthew Marks. Okay, viewers, well, we're here at Long Story Short, and we happen to snag Sam Sherman. We're going to talk to him about his show. Let's go in and take a little stroll through. Okay, now what is the title of the show? It's
called Afterlife.
Afterlife. Okay, let me do a little pan over here. Now, when I walked in, I was kind of wondering about the pieces. I was thinking you've done such a great job that I thought these were some kind of a transfer or a photographic thing like that. But these are straight oil paintings, right?
Yeah. So they're drawn with, I do a graphite outline, and then they're made with 2 colors, basically.
Are you working with a projector, or how do you get your image on?
I project for the outline. So
Yeah.
I basically do a very rough outline, and then after that, I tape off the edges to get the square, the nice clean lines, and then after that it's just really small paint brushes. So
And this one is titled
page 243.
243, Bouchard.
Yeah, Bouchard.
Bouchard.
I think.
Okay, let's move on over to this one. Also, you want to explain a little bit about the idea that you got to start doing these paintings and the layouts and things like that?
Yeah, so the origin of this project was basically through a family connection. So my great-grandfather's cousin ran an important gallery in Germany.
Very important gallery.
Called the Thannhauser Gallery.
Thannhauser.
And they showed a lot of Impressionists and also Picasso and some important early abstract painters. And this was in the early 1900s, and then when the Nazis came to power, they were pushed out of Germany, and they lost a lot of paintings to Nazi plunder and Nazi looting. So
Sure.
I was looking, interested in what it was that was missing, and so I was researching and searching for images or any information I could find about it, and that led me to a book published by the French government in 1947, which includes a bunch of claims, many claims.
There was a movie, was it the Restoration Men or something?
Monuments Men.
The Monuments Men.
Yeah.
And anyway, so you're looking at this book and you became fascinated and you started reproducing pages of the book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And these paintings are still missing, the ones that I've chosen.
Okay, this one is page 246.
Yes.
Claes, is it?
Claes,
Claes?
yeah. Or Cleese.
8 by 12.
A Dutch painter. And this painting is scaled to match the size of the original. So it's cropped. It's not the full size of the original, but it's painted so that this is how big, for example, this lemon
Right.
would actually have been in the original painting.
They also make a point of saying that you're like so fastidious with your copying here that you got the Ben-Day dots in there. Okay, I'm going to make a little critique here, but it seems like the Ben-Day dots are a little bit warped. You know, I guess I could be wrong, but I mean, in a certain way, that's one of the things that I like about it is that although you're very precise, there's still kind of a certain handmade quality about the stuff.
It's not a machine.
Yeah, that's what I like. And
it's not 100% accurate. That's for sure.
Good.
But it's my handmade version of it.
Okay, let's keep moving along here. So, you know, some of these actually have very pleasing kind of formalistic designs. I mean, I look at this and I think of like a Barnett Newman or something, the way that this is all kind of laid out on the page. But this was actually based on the way these were laid out in the book, right?
Yeah. So these ones with multiple images, it's exactly how it appears in the book.
Okay, so this is page 127. Fragonard, Frankfurt, El Greco, and Franken, is that?
Yeah, so these are artists are listed in clockwise direction from the top left. So, that El Greco is still missing. No one knows where it is.
You know, one of the things I was saying that I like the way that these really do kind of carry the presence of the kind of the bad photographs that you would have in a 1940s catalog or something like that. That you also spend a lot of attention on the edges because there are certain things about a bad photograph, and especially where they come up to the rest of the page that just kind of says, you know, I'm a cheap black and white photograph.
Right.
All right, each one of these are based on the page number, so this one is 274.
Yeah, and sometimes they change the number of photos. I can't explain their decisions that whoever put these books together.
Yeah, but again, there's a certain kind of a formalism about this, you know, the symmetry and these other kinds of things that you're using if you're a designer. How long would you work on one of these pieces generally?
This size takes at least a month to make. They're very labor intensive.
I can understand that.
So,
And but you're using basically straight oil paint, or do you have some secret medium that you're mixing in there?
No, it's just straight oil paints, but I mix two colors
On cotton duck.
pack them in tubes. So basically I have this background color and then I have a black that I make and then I pack them into tubes. So I have these two kind of like handmade colors and then I use them for the whole painting.
So in a certain way, that's not that different than the way the printers would actually be using a black ink, and it's not like they got 5 different colors of black ink. Okay, we're gonna come over here and look at the last couple of pieces. Okay, everyone should know who this is by. So this is page 247, Fight and Van Gogh. Van Gogh. See, I was just like looking at the edge on this. This goes to what I was talking about, that really says this is the edge. And then this does have the Ben-Day dots in there as well. Is that an ivory black that you're using?
Well,
Mars
it's mixed.
black? Lamp black?
I mixed it myself from blue and brown. Blues and browns. Yeah. So
Ultramarine blue and burnt umber? Is that?
Some combination of those, yeah.
And you were also saying that you teach at SVA as well?
I do, yeah. I teach actually a course on abstract painting, so
Well,
quite different than this.
I mean, in certain ways, this can be pretty abstract depending on how close you want to get up there. I was saying when we met that I thought that this is kind of an interesting conceptual painting.
Yeah.
And how deep did you go in the historical part of this?
Well, I part of this process was trying to identify paintings to the best of my knowledge that haven't been found yet, because I wanted to reproduce ones in the book that we're still missing, and that's a little tricky actually to find out whether some of these have been found or not. So I had to search through some databases.
Okay, and the book was initially printed in 1946, is that true?
47.
47?
Yeah. Just a couple of years after the war.
And even since then, they haven't found most of these. Is that way? I think it's somewhere in here it says something that there's over 10,000 claims?
About 10,000 listings in the book. I don't know, I am not sure what percentage of them have been recovered, but there are many that are missing.
And you said they just put these on a page sort of generically, so this would probably be landscapes or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this one has got Cecily Vermeer and Sonja, is that how you pronounce 16 by 22? And you really want to keep everything flat, so it almost does have the character of a printed page there.
Yeah, I tried to keep it very matte, the surface quality. I don't want it to be glossy. And also I'm trying to capture in the images the graininess of the texture, so you can see kind of some of the brush, these little dots that create this texture.
Okay, so we've got kind of an off-white ground. So there is some white in there that's like a lighter shade than the ground. So that adds another kind of layer of contrast there. Okay, Sam Sherman, thanks for giving us a little tour through your show. What was the name of it again?
Afterlife.
The Afterlife. Here at Long Story Short. Okay, thanks, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure. Whoa. I.Patagari. Thank you.